Hello sword friends, let's take a look at a really truly budget Ninjato sword, this one, and then we'll compare it to this kind of higher end Shokosugi model. And we'll do a little cutting at the end. Let's see how a budget sword goes through targets. In comparing these two swords, this is the higher end one and this is about $400. This one here is about $175. There's a huge difference in price. What about the blade? What about the furniture, the koshirai on them? Are they better? Are they worse? Let's see. This higher end one, which I've done a video on, is better. It's just better overall made. The Tsukaito is tighter. It has better furniture on here. The guard is about the same. The blade itself has differential tempering here. It has a hamon line. The saya is a little bit longer than the other one. This one, the budget sword, is not too much different. The steel is a bit different, but in some cases, this is a really good steel. Why? Because it's a 9260 spring steel, and that spring steel is very shock resistant when cutting. This one I think is a T10 steel. Both are really good. They're modern steels, and in some ways they're much better than the old style steel that they had to pound all the impurities out of. So I've done a video on that. You have to go back and find that. So I'm going to put this aside because that's not what this video is about today. It's featuring this budget sword. This you're going to like. I really think for the money that you're paying, this is a quality sword. So this is a Ninjato, not really a ninja sword, but that's what they call it. It's a modern Chokuto straight blade, and it's a short blade for quick drawing. And again, it's valued at about $175 retail as of this date. The overall sword length is 88 centimeters or 35 inches. That's very, very short for quick drawing in Iaido. This is a nice sword if you want to be quick at drawing and stabbing and things like that. The blade material is made, as I said, of a 9260 spring steel. Very shock resistant when cutting. This steel is versatile and has a hardness Rockwell of B94. It's a very hard blade. Because of its high strength, its corrosion resistance, and its workability, this is good for anything that requires hard hitting. I would say it's good for soft targets because it doesn't have a shinogi on it. I personally find the 920/60 steel better than a 1050 steel. I think that this holds its edge very well. It's a hard steel. A lot of people use these in designing different swords and knives and even machinery. It's a simple steel. It's a mono steel. I think it's heat treated, but it's not differential tempered. There's no hamon line on this sword here, so you're not paying for anything fancy. It's just a go-getcha, really functional Ninjato. Now the specs. The blade length on this is 21 inches. So if you can see here, I know it's a bit hard to see, it's a very short, straight blade, 21 inches, or that is 53 centimeters is the Nagasa length here. The Suka handle is long, it's 12.1 inches, or 32 centimeters roughly. The handle has genuine ray skin Samegawa on here, although there's no fancy nodes or anything. It's very small, but it's not fake plastic, which is good for the price. The Tsukaito is tight. It's black wrapping, although this wrapping is not the same quality as the higher end sword, and as you can see, the diamonds are a bit different on these. This is a bit cheaper looking. This has a better quality Ito wrap, and the Kashida butt cap on this one is much larger, whereas this budget sword, it's small. This is probably made of a simple black aluminum alloy or something like that. It's nothing fancy. This is nothing fancy. It's just a simple black metal here. The Tsuba guard is made of iron. It's big square guard, so that's going to protect your hands quite well, and it's simply painted in kind of a matte black. Not the best finish, but you're getting what you pay for. The seppa here are both simple black. The habaki looks like a simple gold bronze color here. The majority of blades you see on the market with katana are called shinogi zukuri, which just means it has a ridge line. It has a bulge on the side of the blade. Zukuri comes from the word tsukuru, which means to make. So this one does not have a ridge line on it. It's fairly just kind of flat down into its edge, which really means it's going to cut. There's not going to be a lot of resistance on the edge. Now, because there's no shinogi on here, that means it's a thinner blade. It might have its own issues there, but I found I have already cut with this, that for cutting, this thing goes through targets like butter. It is razor sharp. So they call this hira zukuri. Hira means kind of flat, and zukuri again is the design. It has no protruding ridge line. It has a really hard angled edge for soft target cutting. Now I cut those drastic pool noodles, which I really hate, but they're cheap compared to any type of tameshigiri, tatami mats, which you're going to pay now like $25, $30 per mat. No one can afford that. So I picked up some pool noodles at the store for about $5 a piece, and I cut through those. Pool noodles are terrible. They have no resistance, but you can get a little bit of a feel of the sword cuts and things like that. But they're no substitute for proper tatami targets. The kasane, the thickness here is 7.5 millimeters all the way to the end. It has a bit of a distal taper here, so it's a bit thinner down there. There is no yokote line as far as an official way that they designed it. There's a fake yokote here, giving edge to a chu kisaki, a middle-sized kisaki at the end. Again, you're not paying for any hamon line. There's no differential tempering. It is just a simple slab of powerful spring steel, modern steel, very, very well made, highly polished here. It looks really nice. I love that polish job, and it is unbelievably sharp. For the price, this is a fantastic sword in my opinion, because it's perfectly balanced. The balance point is right about here. That is a very, very good balance point. It is short and it's easily drawn out from the saya. The saya is nothing, you know, fancy. It's just a black piano finish. Look at this. I love how that fits. It's starting to get very, you know, tight here, so you have to push the sword in quite hard to make it stick, which is great. It's not going to come out if you're on some sort of night mission, so it takes some effort to get it out, which is really good. A lot of these cheaper swords do not hold in the scabbard well at all. They fall out very, very easily. I like how tight this fits. The saya has a sageo on it, which is just simple black. Kurigata is the same material. At the end here you have this sharp pointy edge here, so if you had to strike with that, there's no hole in it, so you're not going to use this as some sort of gimmicky breathing tube. But if you had to strike someone with that, it's got a nice saya. The saya on the higher end sword, you can see the difference. One is flat and one has a point. I actually like the pointy saya on this cheaper sword better. Here is the sword next to it, so it has about an inch or two at the bottom to fit in, and you can see here it fits really nice, tight fit. I love this sword. For the price, $175, are you kidding me? As a kid in the 80s, I would have to pay $200 for a sword of this quality. It comes from Longquan, China. They make all kinds of swords. There's a ton of different types of sword makers over there. This is a great sword for the price. Where did I find this? eBay. I just went to eBay, typed in Ninjato, and this popped up for $175. You cannot go wrong for that price as far as the quality. It's decent. It works well, unbelievably well balanced, sharp. I mean, what else can you ask for? The tang probably goes to here. It's double pegged, tumakugi here. It's just good. Now, how is this going to hold up with a lot of use? I have a feeling that these will be loose, and you know, it's not the best made sword. It's a budget sword. But for the price, especially if you're just going to display it and show it off, great sword. Comes with this bag here. Not a great bag, but hey, it's there to wrap it. Look at this thing. For the price, definitely an A. A for price. Cutting, I found it to cut quite well, so I would give it kind of an A- in cutting. It's not the best I've cut with, but going through pool noodles, it cuts really well. The saya is a B. The wrapping is probably about a B. It's not super tight here, and the samegawa is not the best quality. What do you think? What do you guys think? For the budget, would you pay $300, $400, $500 for a big sword like this, or would you get the budget sword, which actually has a slightly longer handle, as you can see here comparing them? The budget sword's a ½ inch longer. Basically this part's the same, saya is about the same, wider handle here, thinner handle here, better wrapping on the higher end. definitely a lower wrapping on this one. So if you want to pay more money, you're getting a tighter finish and better furniture on that one. My gosh, for this price, it is a great sword. So there you have it, a budget Ninjato under $200. I think the shipping is even free on this. Great solid steel, 9260 spring steel, very shock resistant. You're gonna like that sword. I don't get paid for reviewing any of these swords. I just enjoy them as you do. Let's put in a short video at the end with how this cuts, and we'll just call it a day there and wrap it up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you like sword reviews and martial art things in general. I thank you for your time. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Let's see how well it cuts on these terrible pool noodles. It's sharp. It goes to the target. Yep, it does its job. So for a cheap sword, it does well.